Right, all right. So, welcome back to the conversation on discipleship. If somebody can do 50 parts on a bad marriage, I sure can do 50 parts on what it means to be a disciple of Christ because my message has more eternal value than just a bad marriage, right? All right. So, I want to talk about this statement. I'm sure you've heard it before. The church is not a museum for displaying the saints, but it's a hospital for sinners, right? Biblically, it's a wrong statement, right? Because every person, no matter how bad their character is, when they come to Christ, they become saints instantly. We call it imputed righteousness. The finished work of Christ is imputed on you. So that's why every time Paul is writing to talk about even bad behavior in the church, he addressed them saints, called to be saints, called to be saints. So basically, you become a saint immediately you accept Christ. But the process is what you walk out. So the statement that the hospital is the church is a hospital for sinners is not really true, right? It's a gym for saints. That's the right one. But let's give it to the person who came up with it. Let's not challenge it because we're going to use it for our study today. So let's assume that the church is a hospital for sinners. Okay. Now, there are three problems that comes out of this. All right. Now, let's talk about what kind of sin the hospital is curing with the church. And Paul gives us a couple of them. So in Galatians chapter 5, verse 19, he says, now these are the sins that the church is supposed to cure. He said, these are the result of the blood test. It's a sexual immorality, impurity, lustful pleasure, idolatry, sorcery, hostility, quarreling, jealousy, outbursts of anger, self-ambition, dissension, division, envy, drunkenness, wild parties, and the sins of like that. So these are some of the things that it's supposed to cure, right? Okay, so now that we established that, let's ask the question. Let's look at a yearly diagnosis treatment. If you look at a church program for the year, you will definitely know that there's no way the program lineup can cure this kind of problem, because as you enter the church, you realize that the agreement there is that the sick person who is suffering from all of this, they didn't go to the church to get cured from this problem. They went to church so that they can do well in life. You see that? So right away, what we are selling and the sickness are two different things altogether. They are sitting there so that they can do well in life. That is why they're sitting there. You understand that, right? So that means that the content that we are designing for this person who came to the hospital has nothing to do with the sickness they are dealing with. You see that? All right, that's the first problem, right? And also, if you look at the content we are giving this sick person, we have not even mentioned any of the sickness they came with. The preaching we preach doesn't have any of these things inside, right? So right away, we are also ministering something that there's no way they can be cured. You see that, right? And then the last challenge is that now, if we ask ourselves, how do they look like when they are cured? Once they are cured, these symptoms will die and they will develop the fruit of the Spirit, right? Because they didn't come to the church to actually get cured, the procedure or the prescription to cure this sickness, if you tell them, it will be something they want to cast out, right? James says that for you to develop patience, you develop patience when you allow troubles in life to happen to you properly. You understand? It says, when trouble of all kinds come your way, consider it as an opportunity to build your faith so that at the end you have patience. But nobody goes to church to get trouble. We go to church to pray our troubles away because we are sitting there and our goal is to do well in life. So the thing that will make us heal is something we go to church to cast out of our lives. So there's no way we are going to actually get healed from our sickness, because the medicine is seen as demonic, right? Who wants to get problems in life? You see what I'm trying to say? So We are sitting there not getting our problem solved. And then lastly, every treatment is painful and every treatment is uncomfortable. If you make this person uncomfortable, they will leave the church, because the issue is, what I'm here is not for you to cure my sickness. So at the end of the day, because of this sad reality, we are only prescribing religious activity. Let them go pray, let them go fast, let them go worship. So these are all religious activity, but the sickness is not being solved, because you can't confront them with those things and think that they will stay, because they're not sitting in the church so that the sickness will go. They're sitting just that they will do well in this life. You see the problem now, right? So we are doing well in this life, still suffering from these things. So you realize that all the symptoms I just read, they are happening in the church whilst we have these massive meetings going on. You see that? So that is the first problem that is plaguing the church. All right. We'll continue tomorrow.